The West seems doable when it comes to being able to capture every single territory without capturing a stronghold, and we're going to do just that. So the first thing we want to do is head straight towards the Oakland Athletics. Why? Because this is basically the shortest amount of spaces to get to a stronghold. If you lose this simulation, you want to go ahead and restart it. We are going to continue restarting it until we achieve a perfect 5 over there, and then the blocker is going to be right on the right hand side where we first simulate. So this is where you will want to reinforce 3. Finally, we were able to go ahead and get ourselves a win there, and we're not going to touch any other territory or any other space. We're just going to go back down in order to help our reinforce phase. We do not have any steel fans phase, so that is something you do not have to worry about here. For the reinforce phase, although, I do want you to put 3 million fans over here because, as I always say, it is important to go ahead and place them at the blockers. Then we're going to skip to attack, and we're not going to make much ground within the first couple of turns, I would want to say. You're going to skip to steel fans again, skip to reinforce. You're going to reinforce that territory back to 3 million. They most likely will attack you now with the stronghold, which is completely fine. You skip to attack, and then you want to go ahead and also create a blockade that prevents the Houston Astros from going your direction. We're going to reinforce one more time. We're going to go back to our blocker. Make sure it's always at 3 million, as I say. Always make sure it's at 3 million. And now we're going to continue taking as many open territories as I can. And the fact that it stayed at 3 million is also very good for us. We're going to skip the steel fans phase. We're going to reinforce right here. And now, since we don't have to move any fans or reinforce that territory to 3 million fans again, we should be able to make up some very good ground and take most of the open territories here, which then allow us to have better reinforcements for the future. Now, we want to capture the entire west side of the map first. So, in the skip to attack phase, we're going to go right after the Los Angeles Angels. We want to prevent them from getting big territories, but at the same time, you do not want to take a risk into putting yourself in a simulation and losing a lot of fans. So just ensure that you're capturing as many open territories as you possibly can before you do anything else. We're going to move all of these fans or reinforce all of these fans right here at the bottom. And if the Los Angeles Angels decide to overextend themselves, we're going to go ahead and be forced to simulate. So now is when we're forced to simulate against them. And you're making a straight beeline towards the Los Angeles Angels. I will show you where you want to place the blocker. But one thing that makes us happy here is that most of the territories that have, let's say, 2 million fans for them, it's up towards the Seattle Mariners. So what does that mean for us? That means that what will most likely happen is the Seattle Mariners and the Los Angeles Angels are going to be going against one another. Now this is where you want to place your blocker for the Los Angeles Angels. So we're going to skip to steel fans now. We're going to skip to reinforce. We're going to reinforce this to 3 million. And then this territory right here is what we're going to look to create the circle around them with. So we're going to go ahead and reinforce that one to 12 million. We're going to skip to the attack phase. And yes, I did leave that 1 million territory down there at the bottom, but that's perfectly fine. It's not something we really have to stress out about. And as you can see, with 2 million fans, they were able to regain some ground, but that is perfectly fine. That's why I put 12 million on this territory right here, so we'd be able to get that circle back if we ended up losing any of those spaces. And once we do that, it's the same thing. You make a straight beeline towards the Seattle Mariners. Now the Seattle Mariners, it is going to make it a little bit more difficult for you. And what just occurred right now, us losing all those fans, also does make it a little bit more difficult for us. I'm just going to place 3 million fans here, and then everything else is going to go right here. Why? Because they most likely will attack the 3 million fans, either with the 2 million territory or with their stronghold. Either or, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be perfectly okay with it. We were able to get away and have 8 million fans over here, which is great at the same time, because that allows us to have 8 million fans to move over to the top to go towards the Seattle Mariners. So now we're going to skip to reinforce. We're going to reinforce as many as we can up here, and then since our path is still connected, we're going to put 8 million here. Be careful, it looks like the Houston Astros, they're inching closer towards launching an attack towards your path. So that is something we want to keep in mind, of course, but at the same time, until they actually initiate an attack, we're not going to go forward. It seems like they might have lost trying to attack our 1 million territory. They lost all their spaces, which is perfectly fine with us. Now it's time to go after the Seattle Mariners. You want to go after the Seattle Mariners in a way where you don't sabotage yourself. So you see they have a ton of 5 million territories. We most likely aren't going to be able to, let's say, capture all those territories with only 15 million fans. So instead, what I'm going to go out of my way to do is just capture as many 1 million territories as I possibly can around them. That way, next reinforcement, it's a lot easier and they aren't able to reinforce as many territories as they'd like to. And another thing you would want to do in this situation is, as you guys can see, we actually went ahead and lost 1 million fans when it comes to the Oakland Athletics, and we also lost 1 million fans when it comes to the Los Angeles Angels when we're talking about the blockers that we had set in place there. And it seems that the Texas Rangers actually are heading now towards our territory, so that is something we want to go ahead and pay attention to as well. Here with this territory, we're going to start making our way towards the 8 million for the Seattle Mariners. But this is crucial when it comes to this. You do not want to continue attacking, and that's the reason why, because you have the possibility of losing, and now they're most likely going to go ahead and continue attacking until they take as many territories as they possibly can, which is perfectly fine. We still have our path. We're going to reinforce here, get 3 million here, and then the rest goes to the top. The blocker is at the top left corner, so the top left corner is where we want to be at the end of the day. They're going to go ahead and attack us most likely with the 7. If we won that, it's perfectly fine. We did win it. I don't want to go ahead and attack with the 6, because then I don't want the 4 to beat us up. I'd rather them just attack as many times as they possibly want to. We're going to reinforce right here, get 3 million, and then keep in mind, I'm going to reinforce here as well 3 million, and I'm going to reinforce here as well 3 million, because I don't want the Houston Astros getting too deep on us. So instead, if we can block them out, that would be perfect, and we should have more than enough to circle in the Seattle Mariners despite them attacking us from every angle that they possibly could. Like that 2 million territory to our right is most likely going to attack us. The reason I didn't go after that 2 million territory is because I would not want that 6 million to then attack us, and I'd rather take a chance with the simulation in which we won. With these 5 million fans, 4 million fans now, I say you most likely want to just go ahead and get any territory that you could. And with that being said, we're going to reinforce now the blocker at the Seattle Mariners stronghold, and we're going to make our way towards the Houston Astros now. Now, the important thing about us having a blocker here is, or the important thing about us not attacking that 2 is now the 6 million and the 5 million, they can never attack us because a 1 from their own team is blocking them. So now it's time to go after the Houston Astros, who look to be just piling up some defense on them. So with 19 million, I do feel comfortable. We have the blockers in place, and we know that they can't reinforce at all. We should be able to take this 2 million, no problem. And we should also be able to take this 2 million, no problem. I don't want to attack the 13 million. And the reason why I don't want to attack the 13 million is because of what I always tell you guys. They decided to attack us instead, and it didn't go their way, I would want to say. So now reinforce once again. Make sure that all of our blockers are at 3 million. We have our own little blocker, so we're going to have to take a diverted route over to the Houston Astros. Never mind, they did us a favor beating that territory, and we're going to head right back down. Now, like I've said previously, the simulations for these Conquest maps, they're the most difficult simulations I think I have ever seen in this game. This is a sketch simulation right here as well, because dropping down to 9 million, that 9 million attacked us, and we were able to trade 1 for 1. That is perfect, actually. And as you all can see, I didn't pay attention too well to it, but it seems like the Los Angeles Angels actually took that territory back. So I'm going to put 7 million over here just to be safe in terms of winning that simulation back. And then everything else is going to go to the Houston Astros, despite them having 2 million and having the possibility, of course, of going ahead and basically cutting off our path. And the reason why I put 7 million is because, like I said, the simulations are tough. So I knew that even with 7 million, it wasn't guaranteed that we went ahead and beat that territory from the Los Angeles Angels. We're going to be able to circle in. Well, let me not say we're going to be able to, because it still seems like a reach, especially with the Colorado Rockies doing us a favor. I wish we wouldn't have had to simulate against them, but unfortunately, that's what it came down to. Now we're going to be A-OK. They attack us. We ended up winning, which is perfectly fine. And with the 2 million, I'm going to go ahead and try to at least capture one more territory. And we do just that. So now we skip to steel fans again. Keep in mind, this is where the blockers will go. We're going to put 3 million here. We're going to go ahead and put 3 million here as well. And now the rest are going towards the Texas Rangers. We're going to go ahead and make sure that no team has the ability to block our path. So, easy simulation here versus the 2 million. We probably aren't, I'll be completely honest, we probably aren't going to try to get up to the 11 million just because I don't feel safe there. The Seattle Mariners tried to take this territory, which is our blocker. They failed to do so, so that is great. With 15 mil versus 6 mil, I think it's safer to skip the steel fans, right? You skip the steel fans, you make sure that there's nobody creeping up on your blocker territories, and then the rest, 34 million, now we skip to attack. We're comfortable with 34 million. 34 million should easily wipe the floor with both 11 and with... Apparently it dropped us all the way down to 8. I ain't too mad about it. You know what I'm saying? They have some big territories up there, so they're definitely going to be attacking us in order to protect, and that's going to be fine, because as long as we can get this territory back, I'm happy with it. But my lord, Texas Rangers are definitely aggressive when it comes to preventing us from taking back that circle, but luckily for us, our territories are holding their own as well to a certain extent. Let's go ahead and get these reinforcements back. Make sure that every blocker has at least 3 mil. As you can see, the Colorado Rockies are creeping up on us. So that means that the Colorado Rockies are going to be looking to take some of this circle. And that's perfectly fine. I ain't worried if the Colorado Rockies do take some of that circle. The blocker for the Texas Rangers is going to be right there. I don't want you to focus on reinforcing everything here. Instead, what I want you to do is reinforce everything on the territory that is furthest away from that can complete the circle for you. Because you want to keep the blocker there, and you don't want to, let's say, move that territory and then them have a chance to basically mess up the entire circle for us. The San Diego Padres, they're coming down, being a little annoying as well. As you guys can see, the Colorado Rockies, they actually were able to take our previous territory. I don't want to bother the Colorado Rockies too much. If they dive too deep into us, then that's when we're going to have to, put our foot down and say, hey, what are you doing right there? But if the Colorado Rockies are going to be right next to us on the Texas Rangers home, then there really isn't much for us to worry about, because that means that the Texas Rangers aren't going to be able to reinforce. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and just take away these humongous territories that these teams have. And I was going to do that until I was left with 1 million territories. And that's exactly what we were left with here. It seems like the San Diego Padres are being pretty aggressive. They might be trying to circle in the Texas Rangers, but they're not going to be able to with us there. So now we have to make a decision, right? Do we go after the San Diego Padres in this situation? Do we go after the Texas Rangers, or excuse me, the Colorado Rockies? We can do either or. I think it's more crucial for us to stop the Colorado Rockies than it is the San Diego Padres, at least at this point in time, because the Colorado Rockies, they're going to get really aggressive towards the bottom. So what I'm going to do is, the Colorado Rockies blocker is in the top right. It is going to be very unlikely that in one turn, we're able to go ahead and get to the top right at a point where I feel comfortable. So I'm not going to go ahead and attack that 1 million territory so then the 11 can come down and attack us. Instead, I'm going to make sure that I block them from being able to continue reinforcing those 2 million territories that they have near the Houston Astros. And I'm going to go ahead and capture as many of those territories as I possibly could without losing too many territories and giving me a chance to, gain on reinforcements for the reinforcements round. Or at least get them as weak as I possibly can, which we did just that. We're going to skip once again. The San Diego Padres, they have been blocked now by the Colorado Rockies. That's why they didn't reinforce where they were going after the Texas Rangers, and that's perfect for us. Now, it's time for us to do what we came to do, which is circle in the Colorado Rockies. So we're going to reinforce now everything over here. With 24 mil versus 1 and 2, we should arrive at 11 mil with like 10. Excuse me, not 10. I was going to say 20, but it might be 10 with the way these simulations are going. The 11 mil attacked us. We stayed with 9. That is a great number for us to stay with, and we're going to be able to complete our task of circling in the Colorado Rockies. It seems like the San Diego Padres had a last hurrah, and they went ahead and reinforced themselves big time in order to take that circle back, which is also crucial for us to pay attention to, because now they're going to have the reinforcements available to try and capture that line of Texas Rangers territories. We're going to skip to Steel Fans one more time, skip all the attacks, and we're just going to go ahead and make sure that we have 3 million on this blocker, and the blocker for the Colorado Rockies is the top right. So you want 3 million here, and then everything else is going to go right here. And I'm telling you, make a beeline towards the San Diego Padres. Forget about everything else. Just take care of the San Diego Padres. If they want to fight, let them fight as many territories as they want. You want to head with this 19 million, that is now 11 million. I was going to say you wanted to head on over towards the 4 million side, but I ain't taking my chances with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the weaker side, get next to the 5. If the 5 attacks is great and it dropped us down to 1, that is fine. We aren't worried about it. We're going to skip the Steel Fans phase. Once again, we lost now our blocker that we had on over at the Oakland Athletics. So now we have to go ahead and get it back. Put 6 million there. The rest is going to go towards the San Diego Padres. We're going to go ahead and take this blocker territory back. Hopefully no problem. No problem there. The San Diego Padres are still being a bit aggressive. I'm not going to go down. I'm just going to continue the path I had previously. Because if I continue the path I had previously, instead of going down to try to regain that 1 million territory that they gained back, I would go ahead and make it a lot more difficult if I lose any simulations to go ahead and get these bigger territories out of the way. So we're going to be able to circle them in. We know where we want to reinforce. And with this being said, I'm going to go down now and just capture as many open territories, especially against these 1 million territories where you do have the simulation advantage. You always want to take care of that. And just keeping an eye out on all my other territories, all my other blockers, and seeing if there's anything that presents a threat to them. And as of right now, there isn't. So we're happy about that. San Diego Padres, unless they regain their path, they're never going to be able to reinforce these outside territories. So we're perfectly fine with that. We're going to skip to reinforce here. Once again, make sure everything is at least 3. Everything is at least 3, but at this point, I don't want to keep going back. So I'm going to go ahead and make the sacrifice and put them at 5, just because we are getting a decent amount of reinforcements. And with the decent amount of reinforcements we are getting, we should be able to handle at least making a path to the next stronghold that it is we're looking to attack. And that's going to be either the San Francisco Giants or the Los Angeles Dodgers. As you see, we are now starting to lose fans in the simulations, and that's because, of course, they do get stronger. I'm going to bring the 15 here with the hopes that the 13 attacks us and just weakens itself. The 13 didn't decide to attack us. That's fine. The Texas Ranger were able to drop down our 5 million territory, so that's why sometimes I just leave it at 3, because for some reason when you put more territories to defend, the impossible happens and you just get absolutely smoked. And I don't like getting absolutely smoked, not in Conquest at least. We're gonna go ahead and make this 36. With 36, I want to say you should be more than capable of taking down this 13 and 18, but we're gonna have to see for our own eyes. And no, we weren't able to take it down. They instead got the simulation, and they're gonna try to eat as many territories as they possibly can towards us until they can't no more. Everything has 5 except for the Los Angeles Angels. Put 5 mil on the Los Angeles Angels, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers should be relatively easy, I would say, to go ahead and circle in. The blocker is going to be directly left of them, of the stronghold. So where you see that 2 million underneath that 4, that's where you want to place the blocker. Seems like the San Francisco Giants are feeling a little froggy, but y'all better not leap. I'm telling you that right now, because we're right there and we're coming for you. Take over this 4 million territory. We're going to take over all these big territories that they do have, because I don't want them attacking us in the future. And if we get a bad simulation, it's going to screw us over a little bit, but I'm perfectly fine with it at this point. All right, we didn't get any horrible simulation, Actually, we're getting probably the best simulations we've had. We're not going to attack the Giants because we're perfectly fine if the Giants go ahead and try to attack Dodger territory, because the Dodgers won't be able to reinforce their path. But the Giants, on the other hand, they screwed us over here. I want you all to pay attention, by cutting off our path. So now, since they wanted to feel froggy, like I said, you don't want to feel froggy against us, because now we're coming straight at you. And if this messes up our path for the Dodgers, it's gonna make me a little mad, and it messed it up big time. Actually, you know, they got 7 million there, but now they got Giants to worry about. They also got the Padres to worry about. So maybe going up wouldn't be a bad idea, just to recapture the Giants territories. I'm gonna leave that 5 million that the Giants have. I'm not gonna go towards the Giants just yet. I'll be completely honest, I just don't see the point in us doing that at this point. So we're just gonna circle in the Dodgers, make sure that there are no surrounding territories. Yo, these Giants are annoying, like real annoying. Look at that. They're just looking to cut off our path every single time. All right, so next time I'm gonna just ensure that the Giants have no possibility of cutting our path up again. This time around, I'm gonna go straight down, and by going straight down, if they attack us with the 5 million, hopefully they get a horrible simulation. But by going straight down, I'm going to be able to reconnect the path that I want to reconnect. And then they can attack us with those 10 million territories and all of that. They most likely are going to be headed towards the Dodgers direction regardless. So I ain't really too worried about it. But this just ensures that they have a ton of territories to go ahead and beat in order to be able to even be close to us next time. And that's perfectly fine for us to end with 1 mil there. Everything has 5 million except for the San Diego Padres. So we're going to put 5 there. This is the blocker for the Dodgers. Going to put 5 there as well. Maybe I want to start here and take away those big dogs, because they do scare me, and eventually we are going to have to take care of them. So I am going to start here. Take care of these big dogs. I mean, it's difficult to even decide which one to attack first. I think I'm going to go after the 5 mil. That was probably the best simulation we could have asked for. Now we're gonna go ahead and take care of the 7 mil, which they felt froggy and they leaped on. Now we're gonna take care of the 9 mil. Hopefully the 8 mil decides to attack us right after, and that would be great. Attack us 8. 8 probably isn't feeling too froggy. That's perfectly fine. Now here we're gonna have like 30 something. Does anything need reinforcements? No. All right, we've won every single simulation. That means when the stronghold's attacked. With 41, I do feel comfortable facing 9, facing 18, and then facing 15. I don't feel so comfortable about that, I'll be completely honest. But you gotta take risks sometimes. Come on, let's go. That's a beautiful simulation right there. You can't be mad about it. We're most likely leaving 17 right there. Okay, that was horrible. Do we attack the 13 mil? Yeah, let's try to weaken it down as much as we possibly can. That way it doesn't cap. All right. That was a great simulation for us. Skip to steel fans. Skip to reinforce. We're going to reinforce everything here. And now it's time for us to take away everything that the San Francisco Giants worked so hard to obtain. So we're going to be able to do that. Easy. Right? And yeah, I'm not really paying attention to the blockers right now, because with 5 mil, I do feel comfortable. And now with the reinforcements that we're getting, I do feel comfortable. The Giants beat us? Jesus Christ. Alright, at least now they have that 10 as a blocker. But with them beating us, yeah, it makes it a little bit more difficult for us. But we should be A-okay, because it seems like they're going after the Dodgers. They're not even really worried about us. So that makes it perfect for us, actually, to get the remaining territories we would like to. Everything else has 5 mil except for the Oakland Athletics. Like I said, you guys want to make sure you're paying attention to your blockers. Don't ever let your blockers basically get overran, because that's going to make it a lot more annoying for you to finish the Conquest map in terms of simulations. With 24 mil, I cut it. Oh, they attacked us, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Attack us with the 8 mil. We win that simulation. We're going to skip the steel fans. I don't really feel like trying to push ourselves, so I'm going to reinforce right here. Take all of this over. Have a circle. Yeah, I know we lost a couple of fans blocking the blockers, or at the blockers territories, but I ain't really stressing it too much. I don't know what they did on that attack, but they didn't drop us at all. And now we're going to be able to have the Giants basically conquered. They went ahead and attacked where their blocker would be. So we're just going to have to recapture that territory. Shouldn't be too difficult. With 16 million fans, I'm just going to go ahead and try to capture as many open Giant territories as I possibly can. Because like I said previously, if they are 1 million territories, then it should be a little bit easier for you to go ahead and just win these simulations. It helps you out in terms of reinforcements, so I don't know why you wouldn't want to be doing that in the first place. All right, perfect. This also helps us out in terms of like not having to take too many turns in simulation rounds. Well, that one didn't help us out, but you guys get what I'm saying. We're gonna skip to steal fans phase. We're gonna reinforce, make sure everything is at 5 mil. Once we make sure that everything is at 5 mil, which the Seattle Mariners and the Los Angeles Angels and the Oakland Athletics are not, we're gonna go straight down, take over that blocker territory. So to help the blocker out, I'm gonna go ahead and put 6 mil, and then here I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce everything else. And we're gonna make a beeline straight down. With 6 mil, it should be more than good enough to go ahead and leave at least 5 there. We're gonna have 4. 4 is perfectly fine as well. And the Giants, they still do have a chance to recapture all these territories. I want you all to keep that in mind. All they gotta do is with that 8 and that 6 and that 5 they have down there, all they gotta do is get some lucky simulations. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the 15 here, and I'm gonna say, hey, that 15 is gonna block you from going up. I'm gonna reinforce this to 5. Everything else looks good except for the Houston Astros. It fell down by 1. Ain't really too stressed about it, but we'll go ahead and reinforce it regardless. Put it all the way up. Now that it's all the way up at 52, skip to attack. We should be able to attack the 8, no problem. The 6 is most likely gonna attack up, and we'll just regain that territory back. They didn't decide to attack. Even better for us. We're going to be able to take away the 5 and the 3, no problem. The 5 fell froggy, so it leaped forward towards us. It's going to be taken care of, handled. The 3 fell froggy, and we handled it ourselves. Didn't even have to worry about that. We're going to be able to get the Arizona Diamondbacks probably the easiest way out of all the damn strongholds we've had to worry about. And that's because they just didn't really move forward. And sometimes, you know, you can't be too mad about it. You got to be happy that they didn't really decide to move forward. Their blocker territory is not really going to matter, but it's going to be where that 10 million is. I'm not going to attack that 5 million. We're just going to go ahead, leave it as it is, reinforce this bad boy to 5, reinforce this bad boy to 5, and then when it comes to the Angels and Mariners, we reinforce them to 5. Like I said, it's really not necessary unless you see them falling down to like 2 or 1 or 3, let's say for example, but I just like keeping it at 5 because it just allows me to have an ease of mind, basically. So with 49, 6 million should be taken care of relatively easily. And now that 2 million is blocked off. Whoa, that 9 million, I don't know where it came from, but we're gonna go ahead and take care of it too. Hopefully that 10 million decides to attack, and it did. So that worked out in our favor. It worked out perfectly, to be honest. And we're probably not going to be able to go too far, although, against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're going to attack us with that 14 mil, but we're going to say, hey, we're going to place this right here. This is where the blocker would be anyways, and then everything else is just going to go here. Skip to attack phase. With 53 mil, we should be a-okay to take down 20. 20 took down itself. Never mind. We are a-okay. I was going to attack that 1 million territory, but there's really no point because that 1 million territory can't even be reinforced. We have 4 million. They took away that territory back. But now, all you have to do is just reinforce and attack the strongholds one by one, and you'll be a-okay. I hope you guys did end up enjoying today's content. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button or subscribe button, notification bell inside the description are all my social media links as well as my Twitch link. Make sure you guys check me out whenever I'm streaming. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.